everyone, it's Sharonda from Pay or Wait. Today I'm going to be reviewing Power Season 6, Episode 7, Like Father, Like Son. And so the episode opens up with Tariq bad behind, just laying there, just sound asleep, just not a care in the world, until a gun is pulled on him by Ghost. And then he basically ends up making Tariq confess to leaving the door unlocked for Tommy to come in and kill Proctor. And so at first Tariq tries to lie about it, as he always does, but he ends up confessing that he actually helped Tommy. And so I thought it was funny when he was like, sleep time over MF. I was like, okay, so Ghost is not with the ish today. And then when he was like, you ain't gonna shoot me, I'm your son. He was like, oh, I'm sorry, Mr. Officer. I don't know what happened. Like, when he came up with that whole story on what he was gonna tell the cops if he ended up killing Tariq, I was just like, oh, so like you about that life today. Like, you really about that life. And so then when he called him a little N-word and he was like, I gave you life, I was really disappointed that the writers didn't want to go with it. I brought you in this world so I could take you out. Because if I had $1 for every time my mother said that to me in my lifetime, I would be rich right now. So we see that he gets shook. He throws the gun on the bed. So he's like, come on, come on, get your stuff together. We're gonna take a ride. And then he checks the gun to see if there were actually bullets in it, but there were no bullets. Ghost really didn't intend to shoot his son. But I like when he told him, he was like, call me Ghost one more time and see what happened. I was like, so where was his energy like when he first started acting out? Like, you was too busy creeping with Angela to pay any attention to the downfall of Tariq, or more so Tariq following in your footsteps. And so we see that he brings him to the penthouse to show him the damage that Tommy really, the havoc that he wreaked upon the penthouse. And he looking like, okay, Uncle Tommy did this. And I was just like, sir, don't ask my questions. You know what you did. And so basically he tells him like, hey, show me where you were hiding the drugs. And then he finds out he was hiding it in his sister's room. And he was like, she didn't have nothing to hide. I was like, sir, obviously you didn't know that much about your children. You didn't even know that they was caught up in all this mess to begin with. And so he ends up taking all of Tariq's money. He's like, I can't believe you robbing me. He was like, are you serious? I thought he was going to choke him. Slam against the wall. Because like, sir, do you realize all the money that I had to miss out on trying to get your raggedy behind from Vincent? Like, are you serious? And to think he still don't even know that Tariq was the one who came up with the whole idea to try to get this money out of him. And so we see that he ends up telling Tasha what happened and she gets mad. And then it's just crazy to me that Ghost still thinks that he has this control over his son. He was like, you should have seen his face. Like, at least he respect me. And she was like, no, he hates you. And I was like, thank you, Tasha, for stating the obvious. And Tariq is like listening to this whole conversation. And he's talking about how I want him to graduate, go to a good school, leave this life behind. But it's just like he's in denial that obviously at this point, I think that everyone has to know that Tariq doesn't want to live the life that they want him to live. He wants to almost just be just like his dad and be legitimate, but also too to have this business on the side. So it's this reoccurring theme of like father, like son, as we see Tariq falling deeper and deeper into the life that Ghost and Tasha didn't want him to be a part of in the first place. And so we see that I guess I could switch up in between. Should I? Yes, I will. I'm going to go to Tate. So we're going to talk about Tate for real quick. Because, Tate been smashing Derek's wife, Cassandra. And so Derek finally figures out what is happening. And so he's smashing Cassandra while he's supposed to be at this prayer breakfast. And then Derek walks in, catches them. Like, you know what? I'm going to end both of you. And so I'm just like, Lord, Derek finna die, because obviously, like, someone's going to have to kill him if Tate still wants to become governor. And so we see that Tate ends up doing this photo op with Dre to make sure, publicity, to make sure that he got his daughter back. And then also too, Dre makes it a point to tell him, like, please do not show this stuff until after the fact, because Dre still has to, report back to Saks. And then also too, he doesn't want everyone to know that he is back in New York. He doesn't want Tommy's crew to know. And so this presents a lot of problems when we see later in the episode when that picture does come out. So we see that Ramona confronts Tate about the affair. And so she says that she's going to handle the situation herself. And she goes to talk to Cassandra. And then basically she's thinking that Cassandra's trying to get a ring up out of Tate. And I was like, I really hope that she isn't. Because why would you want to marry someone who was okay with sleeping with you? That's just beside the whole point. But she says, like, ma'am, like, he's good in bed, but ain't nobody trying to get no rings from him. I want things for myself. And so she basically negotiates. She'll sign the NDA if she can get this congressional seat. So I was like, you know what, Cassandra, thank you for doing the right thing. Just secure your own bag. Don't try to attach yourself to Tate to be his wife and to do all of that. I was like, thank you, because he's probably going to end up cheating on you too. So we see that Ghost is, I like when Ghost comes in after Ramona gets done talking to Tate. He was like, was the ish worth it? And then he just looked like, this is not funny. And then he basically tells him like, hey, like, Derek dug up dirt on you too. So if he's going to take me down, he's going to take everybody down along with me. And so he basically asked him, well, can you get Tariq into the school? And he was like, yeah. And then I'm thinking that Ghost is going to actually try to kill Derek. But he presents Derek with an opportunity to make him the project manager over the Queen's Child project. With the salary increase, Tate is going to pay his legal fees, and they're not going to contest the divorce. So everyone gets what they want, except for Tate, because I think Tate was really wanting Ghost to kill Derek. Because at the end of the day, he still has his information on him. So you just want to tie up every loose end that you possibly can. But Ghost saw fit to do something a little bit better. So I'm like, thank you, Ghost, for not killing somebody this episode. I see you trying to be legit, but clearly you just can't fully get to where you're trying to get to. But in the meantime, let's talk about the feds. What's happened at the district attorney's office. We see that Lieutenant Rodriguez, when she's reporting back after she interviewed Tariq, that she thinks Tariq is lying, and she's probably right. Tariq is lying about what happened in the involvement of Proctor's murder. And so we see that Sax's boss basically says that this is not a coincidence at this point, that every time that Sax has some type of potential lead or witness, that they end up dead. And so he tells Rodriguez that she needs to investigate this to try to figure out what is going on. And so she goes to Proctor's daughter's school, talks to her, returns her book bag, and starts asking questions about Tariq. But then I think it's Elisa Marie. She asked her where was the unicorn that her mom gave her. She said it needed to be with her at all times. And so she goes looking into Sax's office, and she finds the disk drive, which ultimately leads to Sax being put on administrative leave because they think that he has something to do with all of these witnesses end up being murdered. But before that, Sax actually ends up tricking Dre into, well, not tricking Dre, basically telling Dre, you're still under my control. You're going to wear this ankle bracelet. I'm going to know where you are at all times. Even though you got your daughter back, we can still arrest you for, you know, Maria Suarez's murder because you were the one who told Ghost where she was going to be, and now she's ended up dead. So he's basically still indebted to Sax, but I don't know how all of this is going to play out now that Sax is actually, you know, he's on administrative leave, so I don't know what's going to happen. But in the meantime, we see that Tommy has a lot of stuff that he's going through because he gives Keisha a gun because he's still worried about this threat of Ghost. Now that they know that Ghost knows that he killed Proctor and that Tariq was the one who ultimately helped him, you know, there's going to be issues. And so Keisha's like, you need to leave Tariq alone. He is not the same kid that we all knew or saw grow up. He is a liar just like his father. So it's tying back into this like father, like son. And then Tommy tells her like, you out of line. Don't worry about he my family. And I was just like, but she ain't lying this time. Like, I was with Keisha. I was agreeing with her this episode. So we see that he tells her to go do inventory, and then while she's there, the guys figure out that someone stole the inventory. And of course, Keisha accuses Two-Bit because she feels as though you're being the most offensive about this. So obviously it was you who did this. And then he messed up, grabbed her arm. I was like, Two-Bit, you just so hot-headed. And Spanky was right. You need anger management. Just think things through because you crazy, but Tommy's even more crazy than all of you guys. He cray. He would kill you without even asking you a question about what you could have done, what you should have done. It doesn't matter. And so we see that Keisha tries to go to tell Tommy about what happened. She ends up running into Tariq, who's coming to Tommy's apartment. And basically he asks her like, hey, is he here? Is he at Brooklyn? I go see him at Brooklyn, which leads Keisha to know that Tariq is the one who actually stole the product. And when she tries to tell Tommy what happened, he accuses her of lying. And then basically she looking at him crazy like, this little boy's gonna get all of us killed. Like, why do you keep thinking that Tariq is not his father's child? It doesn't make any sense. So he tells her that he's going to, ask himself what happened. But in the meantime, he has to go meet with Jason, who introduces him to his West Coast new distro, because he's trying to expand Rudolfo, which I'm sure this is going to come into play after we see the plans that Tommy and Ghost has for Jason. I'm sure that he's going to come into play, which is why they needed to introduce him into this episode. And so we see that in the meantime, Tommy is waiting to talk to 2-Bit and Spanky. And so basically they get into this whole argument. They're like, look, things ain't been the same since you started messing with Keisha. Everything's been going downhill. Like, I think he was like, behind the fall of a man was a woman. And I was just like, I mean, you reaching, but okay, whatever. I'm gonna ride with you for this episode. But we see that he ends up letting go of 2-Bit and Spanky. And so 2-Bit is like, hey, like, F him, we're gonna find a new connect. It is what it is. But then they come up with this plan that they first need to scare Keisha into leaving Tommy. And so they enlist someone else to go and scare her at her shop. And then also they see the picture of Dre with Tate. And so they know that Dre is there. And then basically they're gonna kidnap Dre and bring him to Tommy in order to get back in. And so what ends up happening is that they send the person to Keisha. He says Ghost's name, trying to make it seem like it was Ghost who sent the hitter to come get her, but he ends up cutting her with a knife after she like needs him to get away, and then she ends up shooting and killing him. And then they bring Dre to Tommy, but then they realize that Dre has the ankle monitor, and so they have to get him out. But then Tommy sees a text message from Ghost about Dre meeting Jason to be the new distro, which I called from the first episode that this was going to happen, that he needed to put Dre in place in order to be able to take Tommy out without any repercussions. And so Tommy shows up to the meeting. Jason's like, look, I done had enough out of all of y'all, okay? I'm sick of this. Y'all messing with me. You're messing with my time. You're giving me a headache. I need you two to work together. And if either one of you ends up dead, then I'm going to immediately assume that the other person killed them, so you're going to die too. And then I'll just find someone to run this business all over again, because I'm over it. So if you want to cancel what you owe to me every single week, you guys are going to work together. If not, then I'm going to double what you owe at this point. And they neither one of them got no money. They ain't got no product. So they have to agree to this. But Tommy doesn't let this go, because he shows up to Truth as he's talking to Ramona. Ramona's sitting up here like, girl, just go ahead and give him the draws. I know you want it. He know you want it. Tate tried to offer her a marriage proposal, and then she was like, there's someone else I'm interested in. And she's trying to tell Ghost. I was just like, Ramona, you too thirsty, boo. You're too thirsty. And why you want to be with Ghost anyway, knowing all this mess that he has going on, and that he cheated on his wife? Why? You just got out of an unfaithful marriage. Why do you want to put yourself in another situation? Maybe you just want to have fun. Maybe you want to see how that magic stick go. But I just don't understand. But I saw what they did there when they mentioned magic stick. 50, I know what you was doing there, making sure you could plug your song. I'm surprised they didn't start playing it, but it is what it is. So in the midst of all of this, we see that Dre has been captured, and so they're trying to figure out what to do with Dre, because he has the ankle monitor on. But when 2-Bit and Spanky leave, he ends up killing Black Grimace. I was like, why you kill him? He was just trying to lose some weight, get his liver together, okay, lose some pounds on his Weight Watchers. Like, why did you have to do that to him? So he ends up killing him, and then Dre ends up getting away. But we see in the beginning, earlier in the episode, we see that Tariq is still on this mission to still sell drugs. And so we see that he goes to Dre to try to get product. Dre tells him, like, you need to lay low. I'm about to make a move, and when I do, you can have whatever you want. But you need to chill out for right now, because I'm trying to get on your dad's good side. So basically, he threatens him to tell Tommy that he's back in town. So he gives him some product that he was hiding in the baby's diaper bag. I just like, Lord, these kids just don't stop. And so Tariq ends up trying to figure out how to sell that. So in the meantime, he gets into Callister Prep, and he just says all the right things. And I like how the parents were like using his weaknesses and strengths in real life, but just omitting certain truths to it. But we see that he tries to put a bug into Ghost's ear about Keisha, that she knows that he stole the product from Tommy. And so basically, he was like, I'm scared. I don't know what to do. He's clearly acting. And so Ghost goes to Keisha, try to offer her money to leave Tommy. But we don't know. I think she's going to end up taking that money, given all the circumstances that are happening right now. But we see that Tariq has no intention on stopping. He goes to tell Tommy, he talks to Tommy, and then Tommy confronts him about what happens. He tells the truth. Tommy pulls him over the ledge like he's going to drop him. And then basically he was like, do you see how real this is? Like, this is the game. And I don't think that Tariq understands, and what Ghost was trying to tell him in the beginning of the episode, like, I've killed people for less than what you've done. You've done so much, and the only reason you are alive to tell the tale is because you are my son. But, like, I'm not going to keep letting this stuff go. And so now he's lost Tommy, because Tommy's like, you're dead to me. You're no longer my family. Like, you lied way too many times. The same betrayal that he's had with Ghost, of Ghost lying. So Tariq, whether he hates his father or not, he's slowly and surely becoming his father at every single turn, continuously lying to the people who cares about him the most in order for his own profit and gain. He has become Ghost, if not a little bit worse, because he just sucks at being like this drug dealer, because he thinks that he knows everything and he doesn't. So I like how they keep tying in this theme over and over again. But we see when we get towards the end of the episode that we see that Tasha has a real conversation. Like, sir, you ain't no good liar. I'm your mama. So I know that you have no intention of stop doing what you're trying to do. So you need to be honest with me. Did you set up the whole thing with Vincent? And he said, yeah, I was supposed to get a cut. And then basically she tells him, like, I know that you're not going to stop, but I'm going to help you become better than Ghost ever was. But you have to promise me to finish school and graduate. She's like, I can't lose another child. But I'm like, Tasha, the only way out of this game is death, or you got to end up killing all these people. So I don't understand why you felt as though helping him, like, will make a difference. And I feel as though that Tasha still hasn't learned from her issues with Ghost, because the reason why Ghost ended up leaving her is because he wanted to be legit and she still wanted to be a part of this game. And that's what led to the detriment of the relationship, outside of Ghost smashing Angela on the side. But that ultimately is what led him to just fully just be like, I'm done. I can't do this. If you don't want to be straight with me, then we can't continue this marriage. And so I find it interesting that her whole point of helping Tariq learn how to move the product, because he shows her the product that he has, is that she doesn't want him to die, but she's ultimately helping lead him into his untimely death, of what's going to happen. But I'm just interested to see how all of that is going to play out, what's going to happen when Ghost finds out that Tasha is actually helping Tariq learn how to basically become him. But we see that Tommy and Ghost have to make a decision. It's the really what Ghost presented Tommy with at the beginning of the season was, look, I want to kill you. You want to kill me. But the only one preventing us from being able to do this is Jason, because he'll kill both of us. So we need to kill Jason. I think you know that at this point. And he agrees that they need to kill Jason. They're going to get it taken care of. And then after that, it is what it is. They will finish to whoever wins, whoever's left standing alive, they're going to try to kill each other. And so now we have to see them try to take down Jason, which is why I think they introduced Rudolfo, who's going to have something to play with all of this, who's probably helping protect Jason as well. But I think that I got everything. The last thing I do want to end with is the house that Tommy bought Keisha. So Keisha was like, I can't do this. I can't live in the streets no more. I can't do this no more. I ain't doing this. And then we see that he drives her to this house. But was that the house that he bought for Holly when he killed Holly's like abuser? Like, somebody tell me if I'm right, because I felt like that's where that house came from. And it's probably going to open up a whole nother can of worms with this whole Keisha trying to figure out about what happened with Holly. But I think this was a great episode. I think they're really trying to set us up with Tariq becoming the new Ghost. Tariq, who has now lost Ghost and who has now lost Tommy, he's going to have to figure out what he's going to do in order to get to where he's trying to be. But as much as he hates his father, he's just like his father, like son, as the episode says. So it's interesting to see how all these pieces are going to play out. Tariq's going to end up killing Ghost for Tommy. I'm still calling that. I called the whole thing with Dre. I called the whole thing that they're going to have to end up taking out Jason. So let's just see where the chips may fall. And let's just pray that Ramona get her some. Just let Ghost break her off a little something so she can chill the heck out, stop being so thirsty, and just do what she came here to do to help Tate win. But yeah, those are pretty much my thoughts on this week's episode. Like Father, Like Son, Power Season 6, Episode 7. As always, my name is Sharana from Para Waits, and if you like what you saw today, make sure you hit the like button, hit subscribe, share this video with your friends, and make sure you hit that notification bell. And I love you guys 3000. I'll see you soon.